Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is exactly 9 a.m. Welcome to the opening bell. Ashley Reeve here, guys. Before we continue, remember the information we discuss in the video is opinion and should not be construed as advice in any way. It's good to be with you once again. We are getting into some updates on that dollar that we saw yesterday. Phenomenal CPI movement we had there, guys, and we want to try and capitalize and see if there's anything else out for us. So we are dealing specifically with the USD JPY today with the gold price, and obviously we got that US 30, the Dow Jones also happening. Well, let's start with the USD JPY, guys. Let's start with the dollar here. What's important to know is that it's, the dollar on the index is hovering around the 98 point area, falling a little bit today. And so what's very important is that, guys, inflation data did not show the tariff-driven spike that many feared, making a September Fed rate cut more likely. The market odds at this point in time is that traders now see a 94% chance of a 0.25%. That's a quarter of a percent rate cut next month, with another cut likely before the end of the year. And so Trump is obviously reportedly considering legal action against Jerome Powell over renovations at the Fed's headquarters, which could spark debates over central bank independence. So there's some tension happening over there, guys, and the impact that this has had on the FX there is that the dollar is weaker against the euro and the pound, but slightly stronger against the yen and those commodity-linked currencies, that would be the Australian dollar as well as the New Zealand dollar, as well as the Canadian dollar. Let me just throw that one in there as well in case you are looking for some opportunities. So we're waiting to see what's happening here. The yen, obviously, on the other side of that currency pair, a little bit weaker, like I said, softer, and finding a bit of support there, this specific pair with the dollar. But just know that there's the trade deal. The Washington reduced the tariffs on Japanese cars to 15% in exchange for 550 billion, US dollars of a Japanese investment package into US projects. So they invest, they get a reduced tariff or percentage, and obviously this then, from a manufacturing perspective, confidence has now improved for 2 months in a row. This is now for Japan, showing that tariff relief and foreign investment deals are helping the sentiment. And so the Bank of Japan, then lastly here, policymakers remain divided. Some want to keep rates low until the forecasts are clearer. Others want to start hiking sooner. Go onto that economic calendar, look around between the 15th and the 19th of September. That's when we are supposed to get an update on the policy or the rate statement there for the Bank of Japan. But until then, we are seeing on the 12-hour time frame, the Japanese yen here is strengthening a little bit here on this time frame, guys. We're seeing from that high, we've come down, and this lower high here is definitely lower than that one. So we are seeing a bit of a sell-off happening. If we do get price coming down a little bit further here, you can see there's not a lot of noise here. It's really smooth moving. We drop below this area, close beneath this area, we're going to see some fantastic movement to the downside. So you want to keep your eyes on the USD JPY. We are not looking at the upside at this moment in time because this high is an important one. You can see price has obviously had a lower high there, pushed it down, and you can see price here attempted to go to the upside but failed miserably, and we're seeing that price has pushed down again in that same momentum. So we're expecting downside, but we just in case we're keeping the 152 area open for considerations that if we do break above the guys, we push up, and that's going to be a phenomenal push as well. So either way, we adapt either to the downside or we adapt to the upside. It really doesn't matter. We are just pushing forward, as you can see. Then let's get to that gold price, because we know there's a lot of gold diggers that love to trade the gold price. Beautiful asset to trade. It's a non-yielding asset, guys. That just means you're not making any dividends or getting any dividends on it, and there's no interest bearing yield on it. And so when we look at the gold price there, guys, hovering around the 3350, as you can see over there, The reason for this is the softer US inflation strengthened at the expectations of that Fed cut, like I mentioned a couple of minutes ago. And so this then supports the gold because lower interest rates reduce the opportunity cost of holding those non-yielding assets. Hence, I mentioned it now. So please, guys, make sure you also look at the tariff confusion that's happening around this. Trump said earlier this week that there will be no tariff on gold imports, but customs authorities recently classified certain gold bars under a category that would be taxed, creating uncertainty in the market. And we're seeing a bit of consolidation happening here. So we need gold then to push above that area, above the let's say about 3407, to have a further extension to the upside. At this point in time, there is support. You can see I have these arrows that I planted here for you guys to see. There is support on the gold price, and there seems to be a bit of a correction that's happening, a bit of momentum to the downside. Look at these momentum candles here, very, very large, just like these ones over here. Obviously, we needed to break down further for us to extend this downside here, but we're going to have to wait and see on this one. Remember, we do have another trading room, guys, tomorrow. So if the gold price doesn't move today, we're still waiting for tomorrow as well. It's only midweek now, all right? And then lastly, we got the US 30 as well, guys. Beautiful intraday setup happening over here. When that dollar weakens, we have a stronger index, all right? So we're seeing that there is obviously some very important areas here. That is a key point over here. This is a key area, as I've, encircled, or at least put a box or rectangle around that areas. This is where you see the momentum. At this point, we are above that area. So because we are above, we're still expecting some more upside, but we would need to break above the 44520. As you can see, this was the place where we got a rejection and price pushed to the downside. So we need to break that rejection. Then we push up to 44786.22, back into this previous area of momentum. Looking phenomenal though, I must say so myself. Looking and monitoring it for a possible entry on an hour time frame. So we're really watching it, all right, guys. What's going to be important, guys, for us also to remember is that there are a lot of opportunities, just like the AUD USD. Also looking at that one, guys. Let me go to that one real quickly there, all right? I'm seeing some of the comments there. Big apologies. I see Andre there. Look at that. I think we have just pushed it down for you, right? So just let me know if it's all good there. I see Tabatso there as well. All right, and I see Jules and Lenvex as well. So just let me know in the chat facility there if it's all good now, right, Andre? All right, and then the AUD USD also looking phenomenal, guys. What's important to remember about the AUD is that they're also looking for some interest rate cuts over there, all right? And what's important to understand is that if you look at the 0.63540, 0.668553, it's actually, caught between two worlds right now. There's a very big chance we could go up to that specific area. Please check out some of the economics, or at least the fundamentals around the Australian dollar. It's actually lost its previous gains of yesterday, guys. The central bank there, those rate cuts this week is expected, and it definitely is signaling more cuts. And this may then, come to support growth and employment internally in the economy. But from a currency strength perspective, once those cuts happen, generally we see a weaker currency come out, all right? There's also some economic forecast on the growth. The forecast, for 2025 has been downgraded from 2.1% to 1.7%, suggesting slower recovery on the Aussie economy, or in the Aussie economy. All right, so you want to perhaps just check that out as well. You can see it's now traveling up, possibly to that previous area where it actually broke down. All right. Also, then we want to check out that NZD USD. Guys, what's critical about the Kiwi here, there's obviously a bit of domestic pressure there. Traders expect the Reserve Bank of New Zealand to cut those interest rates by 0.25% as well. That will be next week after the week inflation data and obviously, a softer labor market report. This will be then watched very closely. Also, look at the tariffs. New Zealand, guys, US or the United States still applies a 15% tariff on New Zealand goods. It's higher than the 10% that Australia and the UK pay. So it's making the New Zealand exports less competitive. All right. So the impact that this has is that this tariff gap could hurt New Zealand's export-driven economy, and especially if the global demand slows further. All right, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. All right. And then, guys, obviously, then we want to then also just finish off here with the oil price, guys. You will see hovering around the 98 point area if you are looking at the UK, and then obviously the US one here, guys. We can see that the 62 zone. We are tracking this one on the monthly because there's less noise on there. All right. From 63 to 53 is a possibility. We are trying to get into the momentum that you could see right over here. So as price pushed below, all right, you can see that we are now entering that area. This 42 is just too far away at this point in time. So we're really watching this one on the 12-hour frame, guys. Less noise. And we want to see if it does come down to this support first, around $60 a barrel. And then if we break that area, we then pursue some lower levels down to about 56. That's going to be the area that we check out. All right. So that's it for this morning, guys. On the opening bell, we have the USD JPY waiting to see what happens at this specific area over here. Do we break? Do we go up? But at this point, it seems like we are pushing down. The gold price waiting to see above the zone of 3407. We US 30. We are actually tracking this on the 1 hour frame above the 44520.26. That's going to be the area that we do wait for, and then possibly go back to the 44786. Those are the three that's in focus. It's in the lens, and we're obviously just watching the AUD, the NZD, and the oil price with that. But we're specifically focusing on the USD JPY, the gold price, and the US 30. All right, that's it from me here this morning, guys. Remember, if you'd like to open up that account with us, please visit www.tdmarkets.com, or you can also email us at care@tdmarkets.com. Have a fantastic day further. We'll see some of you guys in our sessions, in our classes. Looking forward to being with you. Ciao, ciao. Have a good one.